is the VOA Special English Education Report. More than 40 of 50 American states have proposed what are known as the Common Core State Standards. They are lists of content that students are approached to learn at each grade level from kindergarten to high school. State governors and school chefs led the effort to develop the standards. The project involved teachers, administrators, experts, and public comments. The final standards were released in June of 2010. Acceptance is voluntary, but acceptance helps states that enter President Obama's $4 billion race to the top competition for school reform. The standards are for English language arts and math. Supporters say they provide clear roles to prepare students to succeed in college and in jobs. But Crisis Nation Standards say the idea goes against one of American audit tradition, local control of education. Political conservatives generally oppose federal interventions in schools. Yet it was a Republican President, George W. Bush, who expanded testing requirements to show what public schools are making yearly progress. Still, opponents of national standards care on the one-size-fits-all. They say the idea does not make sense for a country as large and diverse as the United States. One of the opponents is Bill Ayers at the Our Institution at Stanford University in California. He was an assistant education secretary under President Bush amid the ever warned about closing the doors on innovation by locking in a national uniform bureaucratic system. He says the states don't have a problem in setting their curriculum. They have been doing it ever since they've been public school. Richard Ripley was education secretary to President Bill Clinton, a Democrat. Mr. Ripley says the conservatives would be concerned if we had federal mandated common core standard. That's not what we have. It's a state-driven measure. High standards intelligence work for young people across the countries. Mr. Riley says in the 1990s, he pushed states to develop their own statewide standards, but some of those standards were not very strong. He says, so he believes national standards are needed, but Bill Ayers says technologies now make it easier to develop individual learning plans for students. He says schools should go less about a common curriculum and more about improving teacher quality. For VOA Special English and English videos, you can find a link to the Common Core Standard at voaspecialenglish.com.